on Martin Luther King's speech.
I Have a Dream.
I Have a Dream in Washington. But see, those who lived during that period know that there were a lot of speeches being made that day. John Lewis, on behalf of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, is going to make a speech too. His speech was so full of anger that the civil rights leaders had to moderate the speech before he gave it.
His leaders.
Right. And when he gave it, it still was an angry speech. That was during this time that Kennedy was the president of the United States. And we all had it out that the Kennedy administration was very sympathetic toward the black students who were participating in the civil rights movement and so forth, and being sicked on by dogs, by Bull Connor in Birmingham, and things of this type. And this March on Washington was a feel-good movement. And not trying to diminish Martin Luther King, but if you look at the speech again, it was a feel-good speech. But when John Lewis got up, John Lewis made a statement that, why are we up here trying to make everybody feel good? There are a lot of starving brothers who can't afford transportation costs to be here. He began to challenge President Kennedy, which nobody else did. He said, why aren't your troops down there in America's Georgia, where they are killing the black kids now for demonstrating? Why aren't your troops in Danville, Virginia, when you got young black people having a death penalty imposed upon them for doing no more but engaging in peaceful demonstration? And Lewis kept talking that way, and finally he ends up saying, he said, all of you may be up here trying to make us all feel good, but as members of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, I'll tell you, there will not be a cooling off period. Now, that set the tone for the whole world to understand that Martin Luther King was our spiritual leader, but the persons who actually organized, conducted, and furthered the cause of the sit-in demonstrations that culminated in the formation of the 1964 Civil Rights Act were leaders like John Lewis, the chairman, Julian Bond, the director of communication, and a whole lot of unknown, unsung participants, both men and women, such as myself, who went to jail and suffered indignities for that reason. And it was more than sit-ins. We also participated in boycotts. Well, A&P in Atlanta, for example, we boycotted the A&P in the rain. I remember it was raining, with the placards going around, trying to dramatize the situation of not hiring black employees beyond the level of stockroom boys. Didn't have no cashiers or any positions of some worth or some dignity. So we began to dramatize that by our boycotts. Now, again, that was a Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee.
Very good. And of course, this whole movement is almost exclusively a college kind of movement. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Now, it was almost exclusively a college type of movement. I also need to clarify something else. There were a significant number of white students, Agnes Scott in Atlanta, and places like that joined that movement as well. And they were likewise subjected to indignities as being nigger lovers, so to speak. So that needs, and then also high school students were part of this.
Let us have this commercial break, and then we'll get back and we'll allow you to continue that. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. The sit-in movement